Hey everybody, so today I'm going to talk to you very specifically about how to make money with AI. That's like the most common question that I see come up is how exactly do people monetize this? What exactly is going to be useful for? How exactly our business is going to be utilizing it? It's the answer everybody wants to know, and that's the answer that I've been debating for a long time myself, and I think I've kind of cracked the code. So I'm first of all going to give you the answer up front, and then I'm going to give you the like how and the why. Answer is very straightforward. A lot of people have said it before, and you've heard it banted about. It's data, right? Data is the new gold, and then so how you make money off of AI is through data, very specifically. And then what does that mean in practice? That means data against software, right? Like I think that there's always a cost when it comes to these things. And then so the cost that you're going to see is that we're in the age of, we've been in the age where software has been the major value, right? There's been value in software and apps, and it's been driving our economy basically for last like 20 years or so. And then, but I think we're at the end of that. And then so what we're going to see is a shift and a shift away from software and apps driving our economy, and then we're going to see it towards data. And then I think before that, if you look at the prior history towards that, there was a shift into software beforehand, right? It was hardware before, like it was an investment in your IT infrastructure, in your network, in your servers, etc. And then it moved away from that and it moved into software. And then so it was kind of that progression. And then now we're seeing another progression and we're seeing it directly into data specifically, but people haven't caught on to that yet. And then so kind of analyzing, like, so next question is like, what does that mean in practice, right? Like, how exactly do you actually take advantage of that? So let's break that down here. And then so I'm going to give you my very clear roadmap. This is exactly how I'm doing things. And then to me, it all boils down to data, right? And then there's no shortcut within it because it's data builds on data builds on data, and that's what it is. So very first thing is I start with a simple experiment, and then so before I'm able to even generate this slide that we're looking at here, I spend about a week or so going through and then testing all of these different software applications, and then testing GPT-4 as well as 5.3, a different model, and then seeing exactly where their knowledge is, right? And then testing different things within their knowledge base. And then so what I find up front is that up front, uh, GPT-4 was able to pass a lot of this. I make another video right where I show you, and I show you flat out that GPT-4o was able to pass the HubSpot certification test, right? So you can see that would pass a certification exam. That's legit. Like it would legit pass the certification exam if it's on that side of the graph. But you can see that there's some software over here that's on this other side of the graph, and the big one is Infor, right? So that's where I started with. So I generate this graph, and then the very first thing is I understand this concept, and I start laying out this picture overall. And then this picture makes sense to me overall, right? Because so what this is a picture of is most companies that are on this left-hand side that wouldn't pass a certification exam, their model is like closed source software, right? That's kind of how they operate, is off of like a very closed ecosystem. Whereas when you get more up here, you get more and more open with the software types, and then to the premium, right? Like I tested this at the very end, which was Linux, and it was got our first 100% score because it's open source, right? Like it's as open as you can get on this chart, and it kind of just backed up my theories within this that it's all related to data that these models have access to. Like if the model doesn't have access to data on Infor, then it's not going to know anything on Infor. If it has access to a lot of data on Infor, it would shoot up. And then the same thing with Linux, right? It has all data, like because Linux is so open source and has access to all of the data on Linux, and then so it's just boom, like it's intuitive within that, right? And then so knowing this, essentially then the next step is like how do you productize this? And then so to me, very simply and very flat out, it comes to products like this, right, where I'm essentially at this point creating data sets. And then this is what we're looking at here. This is the Sage 500 data set, and I have Infor for different systems, Oracle, Sage. I'm gonna have SAP. I mean, literally any enterprise system that you can think of. I'm going to have data sets, and then my essentially guarantee is that the model will be able to pass like a certification exam within these areas based off of these data sets. And then I create these data sets and I utilize them and I create synthetic data. So I take the user manuals, the developer guides, all of this information that's publicly available, but like they're the big thing with these software models that a lot of people don't understand is their big thing is that like these enterprise softwares is that their claim is, and like how they work is that they overwhelm you, right? Like they're like, oh, like we make it very clear as to how exactly our system works. Like uh, we're charging you $1 million per year for the service of it, but you could do it yourself. Here's this 700-page manual. Go do it yourself, right? And then that's been their successful model for a long time, and it's very successful, right? Because it's like, okay, who's going to go through that 700-page manual, but feed that 700-page manual to an LLM model, and then that's a different story, right? Like like it'll eat that up all day long, and then so that directly eats into these guys' business model. Like it changes the game overall. And so if you're looking for, well, where exactly do how do I make money on AI? That's exactly it, right? Like you make money through disruption, and then this is where you disrupt very easily, right? And then it's just knowledge of the data and knowledge of how all of this works, packaging all of that together, and then making this and creating this into a product. And then the only problem that I see up front with this as a product is that it's too early right now, right? Having to explain all of this to people, whereas I think with 3 years from now, like people will understand this, and then like this will all be commodified. It'll be like the current internet, right? Like where people are paying for. They realize that data. Like right now, currently, people are like giving away data because they're still stuck in this software mindset. And then so going, and the last thing I'll touch on within this is the kind of that why and how I'm coming at this, right? And then so to me, it's I come at this from the Amazon angle. I come at this from jump from the Amazon angle, right? Which is that essentially AI is a disruptive force when it comes to technology. And then so whereas the internet was a disruptive force towards physical stores and physical locations, AI is a disruptive force towards e-commerce and SaaS models, very specifically, in my opinion. And I think that's flat out. It's like very counter to those models, right? And then so the question is then how do you commodify that exactly? Like what exactly makes that unique, and how exactly do you absorb that? That's the Amazon model. And then so for them, they essentially boiled it down to 5 different industries. And at one point it was not just that they're famous for books, right? But they had 5 industries beforehand. It was like books, CDs, software, computer games, and like it was one more like shoes. I think it was shoes, and then women's shoes maybe. But so these categorizations, right? And then they narrowed it down from there to books. And then but from like it's you're going to see the same thing with AI, that it's very disruptive towards certain industries, and like very much like other industries will be more resilient towards it. And then so it's just a matter of picking and choosing and understanding those specific and those correct industries, right? And so to me, I'm picking right now the enterprise market, and that's what I'm going after with these particular software, and then understanding and trying to cut into that market share as far as that data set. And then so if you're looking for unique products overall, how do you monetize AI overall? It's all on the data. Very straightforward. I can't make it more clear to you that it's understanding the data, understanding exactly how the data works, and understanding exactly how AI changes the game of data. If you don't understand exactly how all of this works, then you don't understand enough yet about AI overall. And then that would be kind of the bottom line that I would say there, and I'll end that there. And then if you are in that position, then you're in the right place, because I have a ton of other videos with regards towards getting up to speed overall with AI on that front. So if you like this type of content, please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.